Hello again, Copper Canyon Algebra 2, it's Miss Castro again. Hope you're all doing well. So by now you should be on 9.2 in the trigonometric unit. So 9.2 is all about radian measure. That's the bulk of the lesson is radian measure. So today I just wanted to do a quick intro on some of the vocabulary, also explain a little bit more about what radian measure is. You may be doing some of the examples but still not quite sure what it is. So hopefully after this little video clip you guys will have a better understanding. So let's talk about some key vocabulary first, because vocabulary is important. So first thing is central angle. Central angle, it is what it sounds like. Center angle, an angle at the center. So if you thought of just like a circle and you thought about the center of a circle, this would be a center of a circle. So again, look, center of the circle right here. And you could say, well, from this center of the circle, I'm going to make myself a 90-degree angle. And you say, okay, that's a central angle. It's at the center of the circle, and boom, 90 degrees would be like this amount of an angle, right? You could say 180-degree angle, okay? But it has to start from the center, goes a half turn. That would be a central angle. So central angle means exactly what it sounds like, an angle that starts at the center of a circle. All right, so that one should be easy. This big thing that I want to talk about today, though, is radian. What is a radian? The whole topic is on radian measure and that kind of thing. So key thing here is a radian is just another way to measure an angle. So another way to measure an angle on a circle. So I just mentioned degrees. That's what we've started off with. Most of you are comfortable with what a 90-degree angle looks like. How much is it? Even 180 is pretty easy. You know, it's a half turn. Well, now you're getting used to a different way of measuring maybe that same amount of an angle. You're going to be using radians. So think of it like this. You already know how to do some conversions. So think about just a ruler. How many inches are in a foot? There's 12 inches in a foot. That's a conversion. So you memorize that over the years because people have pounded in your brains for so long. So kind of think of that same thing, right? You've memorized that, hey, 12 inches is the same as 1 foot. Well, now you have to start memorizing some new things. How much are radians in terms of degrees? There's going to be some key factors that we're going to look at and some things to memorize, but that's really what we're doing. That's what this lesson's on. So let's go ahead and talk about a little bit more about radian and where the word radian comes from. It's not random. Most math vocabulary has purpose to it. So once again, it has purpose to it. So radian actually comes from radius. Most of you should know what a radius is. How many radius lengths is it from one point of your angle on a circle to another point of us on the circle? And that's really what a radian measure is. It's you measuring the distance in length from one point where your angle starts to the ending point. So for instance, if we were doing a 90-degree angle, I would say, okay, well, here's where it starts. So let's measure this distance on the circle around to where a 90-degree angle would stop. You're measuring the length around the circle. So that's kind of strange, but that's what a radian is. Now, also want to talk to you a little bit about why they call it a radian. Again, radian comes from radius. If I were to take this radian, or this circle right here, and measure, we can agree that from here to here, whoops, wrong side, from here to here, this is exactly 1 radius length. From the center of the circle outwards, you can see that this bead makes exactly 1 radius length from the center out to the outside of the circle, right? So what we're going to do is show you guys how a radius, and compare it, get some idea of how much a radius is. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to take this length, this radius length, 1 radian length, and show you how long or how far around the circle it goes. So we're starting here at angle 0. Let me plaster it down there. By the way, I tore up one of my daughter's necklaces. Don't tell her. All right, so here we go. So from 0, here's the very beginning, 0 degrees, right? And you can see that from here to here, this is 1 radius. Notice I've already marked it. That's 1 radian length right there. That's 1 radius. That's 1 distance, okay? And if you kept going, here's another same length. It's another radius length, but again, I'm going to continue adding it on. So where I left off, I'm just going to put it on there and again, measure it out. So there's 2 radiuses, and you can see radian lengths. Look, there's 2 radians right there. Look, that was 1 radius length. I added on another one, and look, that's exactly where it ended. 2 radians, that's right there. If I had to eyeball it, I would say that's just a tad past 90 degrees, right? And so now you're getting a better idea of like, oh, so, you know, if you were going to say like 100 something degrees, it would be really close to 2 radians. Yeah, conversion, about how much is it, right? So you continue with that. And I'm going to keep going here with this. So again, we're going to add another radius length here. So here's my other radius getting tacked on here. And you notice that it ends right here at 3. Now here's the most important part. So I've already tacked on 3 radius lengths, and you can see that the third radius that I tacked on here brought me right here to where it says 3 radians, right? So here's an important fact. I am just shy of a straight angle, of a linear angle, right? I'm just a few little tidbits shy of it, right? That is key important because it is just a little bit past 3 radians to get to a full or a half turn on a unit circle. Keep that in mind because that's where this next piece comes in. Did you know? One thing that you want to memorize about radians and degrees is this. We already know there's 12 feet or 12 inches in a foot. You know, maybe another one would be, hey, 3 feet in 1 yard. Well, guess what? When you're doing conversions for radians, this is something to memorize. 180 degrees is equivalent to pi radians. I know what you're thinking. You're like, whoa. Where did this pi come from? Well, think back to middle school. How much is pi? Pi is approximately 3.14, right? So go back to the circle again. Remember, I put on this circle all the way that, hey, I tacked on 3 radius lengths and I was just a tad bit shy. So guess what? If I tacked on just maybe 0.5 or 1.14 more beads, I would get exactly pi. I would get approximately pi radian lengths halfway across a circle. So a conversion that you're going to start memorizing here is this. 180 degrees is equivalent to pi radians, which basically means it's about 3.14. We are going to be using that fact to convert all of our degrees into radian measures, okay? And so I really just wanted to show you guys that because it's important that you understand why you are using pi on a lot of your conversions. What's the purpose for it? It's that right there, okay? I would have had you do this in class, remember, but we're not in class right now, so I did it for you. But hopefully this gives you a better idea of why we use that conversion right there. 180 degrees is exactly the equivalent to pi. And so we say pi radians because remember, we're making a conversion. So degrees to radians. And so just like you say 12 inches to 1 foot, we're saying 180 degrees into pi radians or 3.14 pi or 3.14 radians. Okay, keep that in mind as we move on. You're going to see some examples coming up next, and I hope that this gave you a better idea of why they keep calling it radians and what it means and why we use pi when we do all those conversions in the examples, okay? So look for some other videos on my YouTube channel. I'm going to do 2 different YouTube videos for examples. One is just going to be converting from degrees to radians or vice versa, radians to degrees. My second YouTube channel for 9.2 is going to be on arc length, which we haven't talked about yet, but not too bad once you get used to it. Okay, see you soon. Bye.